Hey, there's Tom. Tom, welcome to see you. Not the smartest guys, and I can't see you. I just see your profile picture right now. But Tom, welcome, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'm doing better than you, I think. Or better than your internet connection anyway, for sure.
Yeah, I got back. They're working with big trucks and tractors across the street, and now all of a sudden I got no internet. But my wife gave me a hotspot too, so we're gonna try to get this going. I'll try to jump on here in a minute. I already got a message from somebody that said, "Where's the room?" I couldn't jump right in. All kinds of things, man. But we push on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes the schedules change. What are you gonna do, right? We're human. We're humans, uh, and sometimes things happen, right? But sometimes there's construction across the street from your house that messes
And
up
not
your
that
internet.
that should kick you off the internet, but they got a lot of trucks over there, and something's going on.
I mean, it could be somebody dug in the wrong spot and hit a cable or something.
Okay, that's fair. See, that's a realistic thing.
Yeah, that's why you call what is it, 811 before you dig?
When I used to be in the landscaping business, one time I was at somebody's house and I dug up some stuff and hit I think it was just like a cable wire or something like that. But I called the electric company, had them come out. I don't remember, electric, television, whoever it was. I called them. They came out. They fixed it. We kept working. By the end of the day, everything was good. We finished up the house. The guy at the end of the day was like, "Hey, heard you hit a line. Cable company was out here today." Like it was a client that I knew, and so he also busted my chops.
Well, at least it was somebody you knew, and they were just breaking your chops rather than somebody getting seriously upset with you about it.
But if we fixed it, I mean, come on. They had a new fresh wire in front of their house.
There you go. Yeah, now it's more reliable. Hey, I saved you problems. I don't understand what
Mhm.
you're getting upset about.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's see. So this is not the smartest guys in the room. You're Tom. I'm Dominic. We are talking. You had an idea today about numbers. I preface or summed it up like this from what your message said. To me, it was numbers don't mean everything. Like there's so many people out there depending on a dollar, depending on a metric, depending on this. But I think, Tom, you're saying that isn't what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so the idea for today for this topic came from a personal experience that I had over the last week, and it really, I think you summed it up well, right? Numbers don't mean everything, and I think this experience, and I'll tell you the story, but this experience, I think, really is a direct result of a business focusing more on or primarily on sort of their data metrics or even their bottom line metrics rather than on the experience that they give their customers, especially their loyal customers, right? And so here's what happened, and I'll name the company because there's no secrets, and I'm not going to defame them in any way. I'm just going to relay a set of facts, and I have the emails to back it up. So it is what it is. But so it's this company called The Feed, right? Thefeed.com. And so they're a company that I've been a loyal customer of for a number of years. They kind of came on the scene hard and fast a few years back in the endurance athletic space, right? Particularly in triathlon. And they, as part of their sort of promotions and their way to get their brand out and build their reputation, build their name, they started working with professional athletes. And one of the things that they did was they created this program where you could join, and I'm doing air quotes here, sort of like a virtual team with one of your favorite athletes that they sponsored, right? And just to be clear, the feed is like sort of a clearinghouse or like an online storefront for food, nutrition related items for endurance sports. So hydration, carbohydrates, gels, bars, all of that kind of stuff, right? And so anyway, so they sponsor one of the athletes that I follow. in triathlon, Lionel Sanders, and so I joined his team. And the deal was, when you sign up, and as of last week, when I went to the website for the sign up, it still said the same thing. What they advertised was, you join their team, you join, this athlete's team, Lionel Sanders' team, you join his team, and you get $20 credit to the feed every quarter. So 4 times a year, $80 credit per year is what you get. And that's it. That's all it says, right? That's what you get when you join the team, right? Essentially a rewards program for being a loyal customer and buying from them routinely throughout the year. Okay, great. So I signed up, started getting the credit, used it every time, always ended up ordering more than what the credit was, right? So like spending money in their store, for the last couple of years. And then I noticed this year that the credit just kind of didn't appear when it was supposed to, for the first or the second quarter of this year. And I thought that was weird. So I emailed customer service and I said, hey, what's going on? And they said, oh, we ended that program, or we changed that program for people who've received up to 4 credits. Now it goes to 5% sort of cash back, right? Or a 5% credit for every dollar you spend, right? So a nickel back for every dollar you spend, essentially. And I said, oh, okay, weird, because your website still says that, doesn't say there's any limitation on it. Still says it's $20 every quarter, $80 a year. Doesn't say there's any limitation. Doesn't stipulate that it ends. When did it end? And how did you announce it? And they emailed me back and they said, it ended in March and we didn't announce it. We decided to do it. And we decided not to announce it to people, to not tell people that we were ending this program for people that had received this reward multiple times. And that's that. It is what it is. And I was like, okay, cool. Because your website doesn't stipulate that. Nowhere does it say. I wasn't notified. And I was like, so basically, from my perspective, you're engaging in deceptive business practices, because you don't say that up front, that you're going to end this rewards program after a certain number of rewards. And not for nothing, but the cashback reward, they said to me in the emails that they thought it was a better reward for loyal customers. And I was like, hey, I did the math. Like, in order to get the equivalent amount of money back, I'd have to spend $1,600 a year in your store. Like, that is not a better reward for me. It might be better for some people, but it's not better for, I would argue, probably most people. And it sounds to me like basically you ended it because it's cheaper for you to go to the 5% cash back than it is to do the $20 reward every quarter. And the reason that I got kind of bent out of shape about it, and it frustrated me and annoyed me, and why I wanted to talk about this kind of business practice today, was because they weren't honest about it. If they had just been transparent about it and said, hey, we're ending this program, or hey, we've decided to cap this program at X number of things, so after the next reward you get, or after this year, like, you won't get any more rewards for being on someone's team, or whatever the case may be, fine. I get it. Things change. You can adjust programs as they go, but like, you should notify the people enrolled in the program, right? Like, you shouldn't be able to just remove a reward or change a reward or make a reward less beneficial to the customer without notifying them in some way, shape, or form. And not notifying them, making the decision not to notify them, I think is deceptive, right? It's a deceptive business practice. And so I said to them, look, here's the story. Here's the deal, right? Like, I am not going to patronize your business anymore. And I'm going to go out of my way to tell people not to support your business, because I don't think you can be trusted. I don't think I can trust you to not do something like this to me in the future, to not charge me more money than I'm supposed to be charged, to not, stand by the prices listed on your website, et cetera, et cetera. I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, I don't want to do business with you. Plain and simple. And so I won't buy from the feed again. There's plenty of other places to get all the stuff that they sell. It's not like they're the only game in town. And I just don't think that they're worth my money, and I don't want to support them. But it's because they put this bottom line dollars and cents idea ahead of loyal customers. If they had turned around and just been honest and transparent, I'd still be buying stuff from them. I wouldn't really worry about it, right? But they weren't. And so they at least lost one customer out of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lose others. And I just think it was a terrible, terrible decision by the leadership there. And I think it was driven by, dollars and cents on a P&L, and they didn't really think about or consider the repercussions and how it would affect the people, the individuals that support their business, that make up their loyal customers, or their once loyal customers that were part of this rewards program. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, was this sort of the net effect of putting numbers in front of people or ahead of people. What do you think, Dom?
Tom, you laid that out pretty elegantly. A cogent argument, as you taught me. Well played. So one of the things I want to jump on there as we go through this is, you mentioned the word trust in there. So here's a company that you trust because they've delivered quality to you over and over. They had this rewards program, and you're establishing more trust with them. And now they do something like this because they based it on numbers, and they break that trust. And the question is, my wife just told me a local gas station, hey, they don't have a rewards program anymore. What? Well, how do you get that? Can you get that trust back, or is it broken and now Tom goes somewhere else? So is Tom always going somewhere else from now on once they break that trust?
Yeah, I mean, like breaking that trust can be, I think, a fatal mistake for a business, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm sure that their revenue numbers are not going to dip into the red because I'm not going to buy from them anymore. But it can be, over time, it can build into a fatal mistake, right? Like, I could just be the first domino or one of the early dominoes to fall, and they could see a huge drop off in business down the line, as this decision sort of reverberates through the athletic community, right? And I'll read to you exactly what they said to me, because I've got the emails here. Like I said, I'll read to you exactly what they said to me about the decision. They said, this is a quote: the change in how we structure credits for longtime members was meant to be a step forward in simplifying and improving the benefit, not a step back. That said, I completely understand how a shift, especially one without a proactive announcement, can feel like a breach of trust. We absolutely should have done a better job in communicating the change. We take full responsibility for not making that clearer up front. It wasn't intended to be deceptive. We care deeply about the athletes who support us, and your feedback is important, not just to me, but to our leadership team as well. I've passed along your message so it's heard at the highest level. And then they said, if there's anything I can do to restore a measure of trust, I'm here and willing to try. Either way, I respect your decision and appreciate the time you spent with us. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the fact that they are unwilling to, or seemingly unwilling to, unwind that breach of trust, that's it for me, right? Like, they broke trust, and rather, they basically, what they said was, sorry, not sorry. Right? Sorry, but this is what we're going to do anyway. And so I'm going to say, sorry, well, this is what I'm going to do anyway too, right? Like, there is kind of no middle ground, I don't think.
Okay, let me throw something out to you on this. The other day, I'm a big person, a big believer in, like, and I know Jim's in sales, Julie's is in sales, so that if you have a meeting scheduled, people need to show up for the meeting, show up along the way. And so I'm working right now trying to get a new contractor that for a certain project. And here, I'm going to pass off, if everything goes through, I'm going to pay this contractor a lot of money. The other day, we had a meeting and the contractor didn't show up. Well, now I have seeds of doubt. So trust here, they like you. I like them. Trust, I don't know that I trust anymore. Trust, now, granted, it could be a meeting, shit happens. So maybe, but well, then I expect that they will go over and above too, because we all miss meetings, shit happens. But I expect that they will go over and above. So how quick should I move on?
Yeah, I mean, fair question. I think everybody deserves a second chance, right? And I myself have been in a situation many times, or been in situations, I should say, many times in my life when I've needed a second chance with someone, right? When I have stepped, put my foot in my mouth, stepped where I've, overstepped my bounds or my authority or whatever, and needed a second chance with someone. So I believe people are deserving of a second chance. In my opinion, like in my instance with the feed, the second chance was the email that I sent, right? Like that was me saying to them, hey, this doesn't seem right. What can we do to remedy the situation? And literally my first email was simply like, I've stopped receiving the store credit for being a part of this team. Is there an error, or did the store credit end? That was it. Right. And then they came back with, yeah, it ended. We decided to end it. It was an internal decision, blah, 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 blah. Right. And they basically said, yeah, it ended. We're not changing it. So whatever, SOL. Right. Your SOL. And like, so, that was me giving them a second chance. I think same thing. Like, if you've got a contractor, if you think they're a good contractor, if you think you like them, like you said, things happen, right? Like, who knows? Maybe, their truck broke down, or they had an emergency call from another client, or a family emergency, a personal emergency, whatever, right? Things happen. People miss appointments. It's life, right? So you just reach out to them and say, hey, hope everything's okay. I'd love to reschedule this. Here's what I have available, right? And see what they say, right? But I think like twice burned, then at a certain point, then you just kind of have to say, okay, well, clearly this person isn't reliable, right? Like if they're gonna burn me, or miss appointments multiple times, right? Then they're not reliable. Similarly, like if the feed is going to sort of dance around, pretending like this is a better, again in air quotes, a better program with the 5% back, which it's clearly not. Like at the end of the day, that math don't math, and like you don't have to be you don't have to be have a degree in advanced mathematics to understand that, right? Like in one program, you get $80 a year store credit, regardless of anything you do, how much you spend, whatever. And in the other program, you have to spend $1,600 to get $80 in store credit. So like, you tell me which one is better for the customer, right? It's pretty obvious. So like they just lied, right? They tried to spin it. They tried to lie. They tried to, kind of dance around the issue rather than just owning right off the bat. Yeah, we changed it, and we didn't announce it. And that's the deal, right? But yeah, I think like for your case, like I would say give another chance, because I think everybody deserves a second chance. But fool me twice, right? Shame on me, right? So like, I think after the second chance, if they don't live up, if they don't meet expectations, if they don't, again, sort of go above and beyond, bend over a little bit, I mean, they don't have to like, be obsequious about it, but like, if they just show a little bit of deference for the fact that they've inconvenienced you by missing that appointment, yeah, I think you're well within your rights to say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out, and walk away.
That's fair. I appreciate that, and I'm going to I feel like usually I would back off a little bit and expect that in this case, the person that I'm going to give money to might work a little harder. So I'm waiting to see if that is done, meaning like I gave you, here's my calendar, schedule a time, right? I'm waiting to see them schedule time on the calendar. Well, I'm not going out and making it and things like that. You can push a button and see the date of times available. Okay, this is not the sponsor's guys in the room, I'm not on camera today. Internet's acting all fishy here, so I apologize, Tom. You're probably looking at Tom's lovely face, and he's probably eating something while I'm talking. Tom, I notice on a lot of our videos, like sometimes I'm about to make the greatest point ever, and you're like eating a banana. Do you eat nonstop?
I don't eat nonstop, but often, and I am eating an apple right now, actually.
Exactly.
Which
Go
is
on.
hilarious. I was literally chewing a bite of apple as you said. He's probably eating something right now. But I don't eat nonstop. I do eat a decent amount because of all of the exercise I do. If I don't, that would actually be bad for me, right? So I have to make sure I eat a certain amount every day in order to sort of make sure I have enough energy to do all the exercise. Like today, I've done. Today was kind of like a lighter day, which just gives you an idea of how distorted my perception of this is. But today was just about an hour and a half of workout. So I did a swim and an hour on the about an hour on the bike. I actually cut it a little bit short so I wouldn't be late for this because I was running out of time. But yeah, so like and the other thing too is like I finished workout and I'm hungry, right? Like I've done an hour and a half of exercising this morning and I'm hungry. So like I had a piece of toast and I'm eating an apple. You know, I snack a lot more than I used to before I got into endurance sports. But yeah, I don't eat nonstop, but I do snack a lot more than I used to.
Okay, Tom, I'm noticing that. I'm telling you, like, because we do those reels and clips, so I watch and Tom also seems to step up his eating when he's like disinterested in what I'm saying. So all of a sudden I'll be talking about something and there he is, like almost like buttering toast and making a sandwich in the middle of it. So I see it. I see it.
Well, what I will say is when I feel like you're on a roll with something and you're not gonna throw to me anytime soon, I'll take a bite. Right?
Okay, that's a fair analysis.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, he's going on something. He's on a roll. Like, I'm not gonna have to talk for a minute. It's safe for me to take a bite. I'll have time to chew it up and swallow it, and I won't have to talk with like half a mouthful of banana.
That might make me feel better about myself. Okay, now we're going to Trisha and Julie, so get ready here. So I wonder, we're talking, this is not the smartest guys in the room. We're talking about numbers not meaning everything. So Trisha, have you ever felt like a company is just treating you like a number? And then what do?
Oh, you just asked me a question that I've been contemplating lately. I was treated like a number when I fractured my spine, and I thought that they would hold my position for me while I was having back surgery, and then realized after the 12 weeks of disability, they treated me like a number and they let me go. After I put my whole life's work into becoming a major player in their company. So yes, I felt like been treated like a number. And what did I do? I became really frustrated and depressed over it. But I've now turned my life around and taken it to a different level because I realized that it was a sign that I needed to do different things with my life and my career. So that's what I did, Tom. That's what I did, Tom.
So not only did they lose you, you turned your whole life around because of them.
Yes, took a totally different path in what I was doing, yeah.
Interesting. I'll tell you, as I'm a publisher of books, and when I had my first publisher years ago, I signed with them. They took all my rights. They treated me, and they did like everything bad you could ever do. They probably did, and I learned from them. I was like, oh, I'll never. And I wasn't thinking about going into book publishing at that point. I just thought over the years, everything they did and the way they treated me, I would do it the exact opposite. And now it's like what do you call a light bulb here, an epiphany that, oh, they were just treating me like a number. So they might be profitable. They might do all right. I think they sold and are out of business at this point, but here they were treating somebody like a number, and I learned just like Trisha. So, Tom, what say you about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, at the end of the day, Trisha, I think good for you for walking away. I mean, I think for anybody, if you're not valued in your position, valued in your job, valued by your employer, you should walk away. Obviously, it wasn't your choice, but glad to hear that, or at least it sounds like you came out better on the other side as a result of it. So good for you. I would say good for you for keeping your head up and moving forward, even when you got thrown a curveball that you didn't expect. Obviously, you thought that the company you had worked for and put some blood, sweat, and tears into valued you more than that, and it turned out they didn't. So good for you for keeping your head up, learning a lesson from it, and moving forward.
There you go. Thank you, Trisha. Okay, numbers don't mean everything. Julie Loken, have you ever been treated like a number? Are there companies out there that you're staying away from, or is treating people like a number the way to go and we'll all make a lot of money? What do you got?
Well, I can't think of anything necessarily off the top of my head. However, I wanted to ask Dom, did you hear Tom use that one word? I had no idea what it meant. And I thought I would have a good grasp of the English language. It's not ubiquitous. Did you?
Yeah, and the thing about
What
Tom
word was that?
he has quite a vocabulary, and Tom will admit, I think he's admitted that he's not like pounding books all the time, but I know he used to get a word of the day. So, Tom, was your mom and dad like making you speak?
What was that word, too?
Yeah.
The word was obsequious.
Yes. What is that word?
Yeah. So
Dom, do you know what that is?
No, because
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not the only
Tom?
one.
Where's the roots? Where's the roots to Tom language? Is it having were your parents like Tom? We would need you to speak at a college level at the dinner table every night, or what would you have going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To answer your question, Julie, obsequious basically means um, like if somebody's being obsequious, essentially they are being like obedient or attentive in sort of a in a diminutive or servile way, right? So like essentially what they're doing.
Servile. This definition is not even, I don't even understand the words in your definition.
Well, so basically you're just, you're being like overly deferential to someone, right? Like obsequious is like the yes sir, 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 like backing away, bowing, yes sir, yes sir, yes, like that's obsequious, right? So yeah. So it's I mean that's what the word means, basically. But Ida, my friend Ida's watching on Facebook, and she said simpering is a good way to sort of describe it, right? So like instead of servile, somebody who's like sort of a simpering obedient employee or something like that. They're
How
being
about a yes man?
yeah, essentially, right? I mean kind of, right? But it's more about being sort of like obedient. Right.
So, Tom, don't beat around the bush. Where's this vocabulary come from?
That, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, if I had to take some guesses, a couple are, I have an older sister who is brilliant. She's very, very smart, smarter than I am, for sure, in a lot of ways. And she actually literally read the dictionary at one point. So yeah, so I grew up with an older sister who had a massive vocabulary and an ability to use words in a variety of ways to really be clear about what she was trying to say. So I learned from just being around her as a kid. My father is an attorney. He has a pretty good vocabulary. My mom's a retired teacher. She has a good vocabulary. And then one of the things we used to do as a family, honestly, every night is we used to watch Jeopardy together as a family when I was a kid growing up. So obviously there are a lot of words would come up on Jeopardy. And if I didn't know what they meant, my parents would tell me to go look them up, right? What does this mean? Go look it up, find it in the dictionary, right? So that was the thing. I think that probably contributed to it. I don't know. There isn't like one thing. It's not like I had flashcards and I was constantly trying to grow my vocabulary. But I've been told I talk, I speak like an SAT test. So sometimes,
Go on.
I love
Julie.
that. No, I love that. And I mean, it makes people around you ask questions, probably, with your very expansive vocabulary. But I was just thinking about your story with the reward points. I betcha they banked that nobody would even notice. And they hedged all their bets that there wouldn't be a whistleblower that would actually call in and spend that time over $20 for a quarter. So kudos to you, Tom.
Thanks, Julie. And yeah, to your
There
point,
you go, Tom. Some kudos. Go on.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. And to your point, that's exactly what I said to them, right? Like I called them out on that. I said, and this is again from an email I sent them. I said, okay, so essentially the change was made and leadership at the feed decided to roll the dice, betting that most people wouldn't notice or they would accept that there had been an arbitrary policy change and just keep ordering anyway. Right. And then I went on to say, from now on, I'll order products from anywhere other than the feed at every opportunity I get, because your company is engaging in deceptive business practices, which you've admitted in your previous email. And I don't patronize companies that engage in these kinds of practices. And then I went on to say I would encourage other people to do the same. But yeah, I think you're 100% right, Julie. They decided to make the change. They decided to change the policy to roll back that rewards program to basically undo it, essentially, without telling the people that were enrolled in it. And then they just bet that a lot of people wouldn't notice. That's why they didn't make the announcement, was because they didn't want people to notice. They wanted people to just keep ordering and figured a certain percentage would notice or a certain percentage might drop off, but that like overall sales would probably go up. And so it was worth doing. Or revenue would probably go up, and so it was worth doing. But that's what it came down to, is they just said, you know what, I think we might make, and I don't know what their bottom line revenues numbers are, but like, let's just say that they're in the hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that. Like, it might be a relatively small difference to them. Like, this might be the difference of like $100,000 in revenue. But they did it anyway. And I just think it was a silly thing to do, and it's short-sighted. And it breaks trust with loyal customers, and that's not a good way to do business.
No, that stinks. All right, it's that time of the show. Tom, you might have to pull double duty today. You might have to figure out a show and tell, and it's time for Tom's Thumbs. Last week you had a take on, we talked about Elon versus Trump. This week I'm giving you something more sincere and lovely, Tom. For Tom's Thumbs, wanted to know about Tom's first Father's Day.
So, as per usual, we are not big on ceremony around here, right? Or not big on like, sort of like, I don't know. We don't do like holidays big. In my family, and Becky's family is kind of the same way. Her family doesn't do holidays big. Like some people go all out for certain holidays. Some people, paint Easter eggs, and paint. What is his name? What Pants? Mr. Pants? Mr. Pants?
Mr. Pants.
Mr.
Yes,
Pants.
come on.
Right? Some people have Mr.
Right, you
Pants.
can't remember Mr. Pants, but he can remember that word.
Obsequious.
Obsequious.
Yeah.
Ubiquitous, obsequious. I'm adding all those to my vocabulary. Thank you.
But some people have go big for holidays and celebrations. It's not really kind of in my I don't know. I don't want to say culture. It's not really the right word, but like, it just wasn't something we did in my family growing up. Similar for Becky, not something her family really got caught up in either. So we didn't do anything big or special. But Becky did get me a cute T-shirt. I don't have it on or with me. It's in my dresser in the other room. But she got me a cute T-shirt, and it's a pizza with one slice missing, and then she got a matching onesie for our daughter Isla that has the slice of pizza on it. Right. So it's really cute. They go together. At some point, we'll both put them on some point soon, probably, because she'll outgrow the onesie before too long. But at some point we'll put them both on. We'll take a picture of me holding her with the pizza T-shirt and the pizza onesie on. It's very cute. It was really nice. But that was basically it for the Father's Day celebrations. We didn't do anything fancy. We didn't go out anywhere. We didn't have a special dinner or anything. It was just a nice little quiet morning at home with the family. And then I went out and rode, I don't know, 75 miles on my bike or something for my training day for my Ironman training. So that was the other part of how I got to spend Father's Day was out on my bike, sweating.
Are you giving it a thumbs up then, Tom?
Yeah. So Father's Day, I mean, look, Father's Day gets a thumbs up because simply for the reason, whether you put a lot of pomp and circumstance around it or not, whether you make a big deal or go out to brunch or whatever the case may be, I think Father's Day gets a thumbs up from me just because it represents my relationship with my family, right? My relationship with Becky and our relationship, with our daughter Isla and my relationship with Isla. I am now the only person, actually not now, I'm the only person that she will high five. So that's pretty cute. Like, I taught her to high five, and I'm the only person that she'll do it with. She won't even high five Becky. So she only high fives Dad. So it's pretty cute. But yeah, I mean, if for nothing else other than that, Father's Day definitely gets a thumbs up for me. But yeah, it was a good day. I like the idea of, celebrating, those that matter the most to us. And so, yeah, so I think it's good to have those kind of holidays and those days set aside for recognition, because otherwise life gets busy and it's easy to miss those things. It's easy to forget to say thanks, forget to say I love you, forget to say those things to the people that matter most. So Mother's Day gets a thumbs up, Father's Day gets a thumbs up. Yeah, my dad actually took us out for dinner last week for Father's Day, the weekend before Father's Day. So or on Friday before Father's Day. So yeah, so got to see my dad. He got me a card for my first Father's Day. Got to spend some time high-fiving my daughter on Father's Day. And yeah, all around good time, good day, good holiday. I'm in favor of it. It gets a thumbs up.
Tom, fatherhood has softened you. Another thumbs up. You're on a streak.
It's either that or you're throwing me softballs. Like,
well, I mean,
if you had asked me about the feed, I would have given him a thumbs down. So it's just it's just what you ask.
Okay, yeah. Well, you went Elon versus Trump. You liked that fight. I think you liked the fall of Diddy the one day. I mean, you were.
I mean, okay. So hold on. Pump your brakes there, buddy. Because like, let's like dig just a little bit deeper than like I gave them both. I was giving thumbs up to bad, like to negative things.
See how I can frame things. I'm working on my framing. I can.
So I don't know.
I can paint
fatherhood.
I can paint it in a way
that I'm like, yeah. I'm excited about a guy going to jail who deserves to go to jail. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say that softened me. But
okay, I'm just checking on you, man. I'll tell you, me, my son, my daughter, we hung out with my dad. We went and we rode bikes, and he's one of these guys that when you ride bikes, Tom, he always wants to go further, but never thinks that he has to go back. So like we rode, and then he got off his bike, walked a mile up a hill, and I'm like, he doesn't walk the fastest, and he just keeps on walking like through the woods. And I'm like, oh my God, it's about to rain. And the guy just keeps going and going and going up. No trespassing places. I mean, he's explores. So still at 83, we had a good Father's Day and we're all together. So I approve of your thumbs up. Tom, go on. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that's funny because it just reminded me of something that Becky's mom used to do. I don't think she's done it in a while, but she used to. She likes to go for long walks. Like she's a person who loves going for a long walk. The problem was that she wasn't always good at deciding when to turn around. So she basically would just go out and walk until she didn't feel like walking anymore, and then call either Becky or her brother to come pick her up wherever she was on the other side of town. So it just made me think, when you were talking about your dad never thinks about having to turn around and go back. Becky's mom, similar thing, like would just go out for a walk, and then when she felt like she was done walking, she would just call Becky or call Becky's brother and say, hey, I'm over at this place, come pick me up. I'm done walking, I don't want to walk home. So I don't know, do you ever get a call like that from your dad, like, hey, come get me, I rode my bike out and I don't want to ride back?
I do that sometimes to Liz, but usually it's because I have like a knee injury or flat tire along the way, and I'm just like, oh, or I fall off my bike or something. But I will tell you, that day he did say, hey, you should ride back and get the truck and come pick us up. And I'm like, no, not today, Bucko. You're getting back on your bike. Then his bike's an e-bike, so he rode back at about 25 miles per hour while the rest of us pedaled away.
Yeah, just fly. Like, he's complaining about having to ride back, but yet he's the one that's got a motor on his bike.
Yeah, he just went all out on the motor. So, okay, Tom, we're talking about numbers don't mean everything. I think just before we close that out, and in outreach, so many people are like numbers. It's all numbers. Well, if you're putting in bad data, or just reaching out to people that aren't true prospects, or churn and burn, to me, it's bullshit. I working with a new consultant with me, and I'm like, you don't have to just put in random names. Don't ever feel that pressure for like just to fill up a sheet with names, and like, because it's not going to work if you're filling up just quality conversations, quality leads, quality everything, high value. But if anytime, if you just start looking at these numbers, I remember in pharmaceuticals, I talk about like in insurance sales or yellow page. Oh, we had to hit 20 a day, or well, then we had to hit, then like you needed to see 20 doctors a day and then people just made up the numbers. So then they were like, well, you got to get 15 signatures a day. Well, then the doctor's offices all know this. So you put your iPad up on the thing and they signed all the people's iPads, but it was just bullshit metrics. So I want to leave this conversation today on numbers don't mean everything when they're bullshit metrics. If you're just doctoring metrics and things like that, if you have high value numbers, like at the end of the day, if you're like, hey, how many people I helped, how many quality accounts I closed, how many quality conversations with decision makers I had today, how many, those are quality numbers. If you're just making up vanity metrics or bullshit metrics, then I think it's a complete miss. So that's where I'll stand on that, Tom. Tom, you want to do you in that office of yours, you want to do a show and tell? You got something you could pull up for a show and tell?
Yeah, I got something I can pull up. I got something within arm's
tell us
reach,
about something. Come on.
But
I'm going to watch this back later, so I need you to step up your game here.
All right. So here we go. So this thing that I have right here, I'll show it. I'll hold it up on camera so the people who are watching the live stream can see it. I'll get it up close. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus on it. Maybe. Nah, it's going to stay focused on my face. Sorry. It doesn't take up enough space. There we go. I got it to focus on it. So this is a knife, right? It's a what is, I think, largely considered to be the original kind of pocket knife. It's from a French company. It's called Opinel. And it's a pocket knife, and this one has my initials carved into the handle. And the reason that it has my initials carved into the handle is because this knife matches the knives that I got my groomsmen as a groomsman's gift when Becky and I got married. So this knife sits on my desk. I use it all the time for, opening mail, for a various number of things. Sometimes even cutting up an apple. I've used it for that before. But yeah, so it's a great little knife. It's an old style design with a wooden handle. It's very simple, very kind of clean and elegant. And yeah, it's my Opinel pocket knife, and it matches the ones that I got for my groomsmen as groomsmen gifts for Becky and I's wedding. So that's my show and tell. And I've carried a knife or had a pocket knife since I was a kid. A knife is a great tool to have. It's incredibly useful. And I think people should, not as a weapon, as a tool, people should think about carrying a small pocket knife with them. It really comes in handy. Especially if you order a lot of stuff online. There's a lot of boxes to open. You always need a knife for that. So anyway, that's my show and tell.
Okay, and I like that you encourage us to also get knives and to use constructively in our lives. My dad is one that carried around pruners or little knives with him and always preached that you have to have one. Now, I get books in the mail every day and stuff like that, and I don't carry one, so maybe I'm missing the boat. The other day I got a box, Tom, and I opened it by giving it like little karate chops, like Miyagi would have taught Daniel, and like Liz was and the kids were watching, and they're like, I don't think this is going to work, and I just chopped like right on the tape rather than using a knife. So maybe I need to step up my knife game, as you suggested.
Yeah, get a little knife like Mr. Miyagi would use to trim a bonsai tree.
There you go, Mr. Miyagi. There's a new Karate Kid coming out. Miyagi's back, and it's Jackie Chan now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just saw an interview with oh God, his name is escaped now, and fair play, Julie, feel free to give me grief about this. I can't remember the actor's name who played Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid, but I can remember the word obsequious.
Ralph Macchio, man.
Ralph Macchio. Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Come on.
So anyway, I saw an interview with Ralph Macchio recently, who was talking about, and in that interview, obviously, he was doing the press for that new movie, and was talking about it. It was a really interesting interview. Curious to see how they sort of carried the tradition forward. Obviously, and I think the actor's name who played Mr. Miyagi was, I think his name was Ralph Morita, if I'm right. But anyway, obviously he passed away a number of years ago. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see Jackie Chan he's not playing Mr. Miyagi, but he's playing a Mr. Miyagi-like figure. So I think he might be like the long lost son of Mr. Miyagi or something like that in the movie. I'm not entirely sure of the plot points or the story structure of it, but I'm curious to see it. I mean, look, I loved the Karate Kid, particularly the first one. Second one was okay. Third one got a little weird. As often, by the time you get to like the third in any sort of series of sequels of movies, they tend to get a little bit weird and not that great. Like they're struggling to pull a story out of it. But the first one, I mean, was like one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. I loved that movie. It's like, I always wanted to take martial arts classes because of that movie when I was a kid. And I never did, but I always wanted to because of the Karate Kid. I was also hoping that they weren't going to make me sand a deck if I did take a martial arts class. But yeah,
I got to tell you, Tom, I went when I was younger, I too loved Karate Kid and wanted to go take a martial arts class. So my mom took me up to this class, and the guy was like the opposite guy from the guy from Cobra Kai. And he was like, if you're coming here because you saw Karate Kid, you might as well just leave right now. And you had to watch a class, like sitting there before you could ever go to a class. And the guy just like yelled the whole time. And that was the end of my karate, because I think I might have landed at the Greensburg, Pennsylvania's Cobra Kai version.
That was the end of your martial arts career?
Yeah, it lasted for 40 minutes. I was almost in tears when the guy said, well, he knew my soul and knew I was only there because I saw Karate Kid, probably Karate Kid 2, with that where he honked that guy on the nose at the end. That's what I wanted. So that's what I got, Tom. So
well,
Tom,
did you watch the Netflix series?
I watched okay, so this is a good point. So I'll bring this back to numbers don't mean everything. Here you go. Like, okay, well, people are watching, so let's just keep putting out Karate Kids. Okay, and maybe on one hand, maybe you're entertaining people. On the other hand, maybe they're making a lot of money. On the other hand, are they tarnishing the reputation, the legacy? Does it matter? They can decide that. But yeah, I watched the first probably 2 or 3 seasons of it. And then all of a sudden I felt like I was watching like Teeny Bop with like the Olsen twins or something. I was like, what is going on here? It was no longer like the Karate Kid I knew. And they had like all these like teenagers running around like throwing eggs at each other and like having dance offs. And I was like, I don't think I like this show anymore.
Yeah, I think the first couple of seasons, the storylines were much more focused around the adults, right, on the series. But then, yeah, it kind of shifted. They sort of ran out of, or they realized that basically it was the same storyline over and over again, like reconciliation, fight, right, between Daniel and what's his name, from Cobra Kai,
Johnny, man.
Johnny.
Yeah. And yep.
Yeah. But that was the storyline, right? Was like they would reconcile and then get in a fight, and then reconcile and then get in a fight. And they were like, okay, we've milked this for 2 seasons, kind of can't get anything else out of it, right? The stone is dry. There's nothing else coming out of the stone. And so they shifted and started focusing the storylines on the kids. And they weren't as good. The storylines that they came up with weren't as good. It was like teen angsty kind of stuff, which maybe appealed to a teen audience well, but like definitely didn't appeal to a middle-aged guy audience, as evidenced by myself and Dom, right? So yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't great. But the reason I asked was because you talked about that honk on the nose at the end of Karate Kid 2, and that character, whose name I also forget, in case you couldn't tell, I'm terrible with names. That character also reprised his role in later seasons of Cobra Kai, which was kind of interesting and fun to see. And it was the same. They got the same actor actually came back and reprised that role, so it was kind of fun to see.
I did see that, and I will say, which for me, I get it. They were trying to bring the younger generation in because they probably figured, like you're saying, story's running out. Let's now focus it, turn it on the kids. We'll get a new audience of viewers. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know, Tom. All I know is I think, Tom, that you have to somehow figure out how to wrap this all up where you had double duty. You had Tom's Thumbs, you had show and tell. Now you have wrap up, and you were the only one on camera today. So figure that all out.
All right, I guess I'll go. So yeah, obviously, sorry you weren't able to be on the live stream, visually on the live stream on camera today, Dom. It's a bummer. But digs happen, I guess. Construction happens, right? And for whatever reason, your internet was interrupted. So Appreciate you being able to be here, at least in an audible sense, or vocally rather than visually as well. But yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, I think what it really boils down to, and the thing that is often forgotten by businesses and brands, and it's easy to forget when you're sitting in a room and you're going over spreadsheets and you're talking about revenue numbers and you're looking at the P&L for your business, it's really easy to forget that on both sides of every transaction are human beings, right? On the business side and on the consumer side, every single time there is a transaction, there are human beings on both ends of that transaction. Every relationship, every interaction between a business and its customers involves human beings. And if there's anything that we dislike universally, that we can all agree on, even in the divided political environment in which we now live, the one thing that is universal, that is nonpartisan, that everyone agrees on, is that we don't like being treated as anything other than human beings. We don't like being dehumanized. And that's exactly how you make people feel when you put numbers ahead of people and their trust, right? And their willingness to do business with your brand. So, lesson for companies like The Feed, for any company really out there listening, for any of you that work at a business or a brand or starting up a company, always remember that there are people on both sides in the business and on the customer consumer side. There are always human beings on both sides of a transaction or a business relationship. And you have to remember to treat people like people. Don't treat them like data points. Don't treat them like numbers. Don't treat them like bottom line revenue on a P&L. Don't put numbers ahead of the people that support your business or your brand, because if you lose those people, the numbers don't mean anything. So anyway, that's all I got for this week. Thank you, Dom, for making things work. At least from the audible side, as I said, the auditory side, at least making that work. I appreciate it. Really appreciate you being here. All of you being here, all of you guys listening. I got some, an old friend, Aaron from my youth growing up in Pleasantville in New York, just messaged and wants to know how you can score my hat. Send me a DM, Aaron. I'd be happy to get you a patch and so you can get it put on a hat. But yeah, anyway, appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys participating. Until next Wednesday, actually, I should have said, Dom, usually we have a little bit of a conversation beforehand. We didn't get to do that today because you weren't online. There's a chance I might not be around next Wednesday. I might be on a shoot. So we'll have to see, roll the dice. We'll let you guys know if we're going to be here next Wednesday. But either way, we appreciate you. We're here almost every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and not the smartest guys in the room. You guys are the reason why we do this. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you for being a part of this with us, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Until then, have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. We love you. Thanks. Bye-bye.